Hey, how's it going, guys? DeAndre Jones here. I'm back with another video. I'm going to teach you guys how to get more distance out of your Kong. This equates to as well as Kong precisions, as well as just getting more distance. Maybe you need to close a gap between one obstacle and another, and you want to make sure that it flows well. You can use that with the Kong. And what's beautiful about a Kong is you can get a lot of distance out of a Kong vault that better than you could with other vaults. So let's just dive right into it. The first thing I want to talk about is the run up. So with the run up, you want to learn how to run with confidence. And what I mean by that is I see a lot of people run for, certain vaults, especially the Kong, and they kind of slow down towards the end. So they're running super fast at the beginning, and then at the end they kind of stutter step and then kind of mess up their whole momentum with the Kong. And what's beautiful about this vault is that you can go full speed in Kong and get a ton of distance. So you shouldn't be slowing down. In fact, you should probably be speeding up with your Kong vault. And so, like, if you're, having that trouble with slowing down at the beginning, or you're stopping all of your momentum before you go into the Kong vault, you should definitely work on that and just work on doing the Kong at a slow pace at first, and then gradually go faster and faster and faster till you find a comfortable pace that you're willing to work with. The next one I want to talk about is the Gallop steps. There's no point in doing Kongs with, the two-footed takeoff unless you're going for height. So if you're trying to go for distance, you want to go with the Gallop step. And what the Gallop step is really just like is in the name, it's kind of like galloping, kind of like a skip or a hop into the Kong. It's different than doing the punch technique into the Kong, but there is a reason for the punch technique. It can give you more height, and when people are learning Kongs, it's better if we teach them with the punching motion. That way they can get enough height to get over the obstacle. But once you've gotten comfortable with that, you should probably switch on to the Gallop step, because it can do both what the punch one can do, but it can also do more because it can get you more distance. So definitely work on that. The next one I want to talk about is the dip into the Kong. A lot of people, there's either two ways people do it. Either one, you don't dip at all and you're just running and then you're just Konging it, basically practically standing up. Or two, I'll mention to someone you should go into the dip and then they're running the whole time with their knees bent, running into the Kong. You don't want to worry about dipping down eye level with the object until your last 3 steps, which is the Gallop phase. So the takeoff phase, whenever you're about to hit the Kong, you want to dip down and then hit that wall and Kong up. And what that does is it loads your legs as springs, so not only can they help you get distance, but they can also give you height. And then you also block with your hands. That way it'll lift your chest up and you can land on top of the obstacle or whatever you're trying to go to. So it helps out a lot to learn how to dip into the Kong. It's just a lot of blocking potential, and you should really tap into that if you haven't done so already. Now I want to talk about the different things that your legs do and your arms do. Now I usually tell people your legs, they just get you the distance there, but they do help you get over the wall a little bit, because you would be clipping your knee if you didn't lift up with your hips, but they're not necessarily helping you strictly get distance. They're really just trying to get you get your hips up high, as well as getting you distance as well. And then what's going to help you is your hands. So your hands block the obstacle, because think about it, if I'm running, I load my legs, I lift my hips, and I jump to the obstacle, right? So I'm like this in the air. My chest is leaning forward, my legs are behind me. But we know we want to land with our legs extended, that way we can get the most distance and safely land. So our arms help us with the transition of our chest being from here to being upright here. So you use your hands to block, get your chest up, that way you can transition into the landing phase, which is sticking your legs out, okay? But also it can have another useful aspect to it, meaning that your hands can also grab whatever you're Konging and can help pull you through. That's usually only for when you have limited run-ups and you need to get maximum distance, with such a small run-up. It helps if you're able to grab the obstacle and pull it through. So it does have more meaning than just simply blocking, but if it depends on the situation. So I would suggest if it's a short run-up, definitely work on grabbing and pulling your legs through. But if you have plenty of time to get into the landing phase, use your hands just to block and then throw your hands behind you. That will help you enough just to get your chest up and over. So yeah, and then the next thing I want to talk about is just your legs extended and neutral torso. So that kind of just goes into what I was talking about. Your legs, they help you go forward and they lift your hips up, and then also your hands are here so it can lift your chest up. That way you can have your chest in a neutral position and you can quickly switch into the landing phase. You want to work on being able to land with your legs just a little bit extended. I wouldn't worry about it too much unless you're trying to go for precision, but if you're just going for distance, just have your legs in front of you just a little bit, just so you can work on you know, maximizing the amount of time that you are in the air. So that helps out, you know, a ton. The next one I want to talk about is practicing ukemi, and this is specifically just for Kong precisions. So a lot of people, you know, it's a bit scary to kind of go for a Kong pre. So a lot of people, they like, you know, they kind of like stick one leg out for it, or like maybe try to crane it, or like they'll half it. So like they'll like, you know, just Kong it just a little bit just to see how much distance they can get and not really make it to the wall. What you want to do is practice, you know, the art of falling out of a Kong precision. So after you go for the Kong, just work on impacting the side of the wall with both your feet at the same time. And essentially, you're like almost doing like a Kong cat. And you can't always do it in every situation, but in situations that you can, especially like if you're training in gyms or something like that, you can definitely set up, you know, an obstacle to resemble that, and you can like just practice impacting the side of the wall, not necessarily trying to get on top of it, but just learning how to deal with your body if you don't make it. So if you always have a safe out whenever you're going for this movement, you'll never be afraid to go for like a max distance Kong precision, as long as it's like, you know, like not over height. If it's something that's just like even height and, you know, you're on the ground, you have no problem going with it full speed because you have a way of saving yourself in case you fall. Okay, so I hope these tips help. This is a quick, easy video. I'm gonna have another one this week, so watch out. Also, click the link down in the description to get started on the parkour crash course. I want to see a lot of you guys in there. I want to also start helping a lot of people out through emails and stuff like that. So send me an email on any tips or suggestions for future videos that you might want or that you just want to hear about. But until then, train hard, be safe. Catch you in the next video. Link below. Peace.